Good evening, colleagues and friends. Welcome to the project management series from the Project Management Guru. Today, our lesson will be on programs and portfolios. I've noticed a common trend in this system where the name program and portfolios and projects are used interchangeably. People really don't know what the difference is. Cases where it's supposed to be a project, they call it a program. Cases where it's supposed to be a portfolio, they call it a project. So today I want to provide some clarity between a program and a portfolio. A program is a group of related projects or a group of interdependent projects that are managed together to obtain certain benefits and controls that you will not achieve if you manage these projects individually. Let's take a human being. Let's take the human system, our anatomy, as a program. You see, we have various organs that function together to make us human. So let's take the arms or our limbs as a project, the head as a project, okay? The torso as a project. You can see that all these components of our human system are interrelated, they are interdependent, and they need to be integrated to achieve a certain benefit and control. If we decide to deal with only the limbs, or if we decide to ignore the limbs and just deal with the torso or just the head, we will not achieve the objective of the human system. The various components must come together, they must be integrated for us to achieve that objective. And that is a program. Okay? So it is a centralized management of interdependent projects. The only relation between these components of a program is that they have a common objective. If you look at the human anatomy, there's one common objective for us to be alive. So the only relation you see between the torso and the limbs, or the limbs and the head, or the limbs and the shoulders, is that they are all working together to achieve one common objective of we being alive. So if you have projects that are not interdependent or that are not related, and the only relationship between them is that they have a common client or a common technology or a common resource, that group of projects is not a program. I want you to understand this. There are many things going on around which are not programs, but they've been labeled programs. And you manage this collection of interdependent projects as a program. More or less, you use program management principles to manage this collection of projects. And it's a different ball game altogether from managing a standalone project. And most of the time, there are program management systems or program performance management systems, M&E systems, that will enable you manage a program. Okay, so I can give you an example of a program. Let's say the manufacture of an aeroplane as a program. The manufacture of the wings as one project. The manufacture of the body, the rest of the body, as another project. The manufacture of the engine as another project. Okay? The electronic system as another project. All these projects, as you can see, of the aeroplane system, they must be integrated to achieve the objective of the aeroplane, of flying. We cannot manage the wings alone, and we cannot manage the head alone or the electronic system alone. They must be managed together in an integrated manner for us to achieve that common objective of the aeroplane flying. Okay, so for instance, let's take a water supply system. A water supply system, you can have the dam, that's the source of the water, the dam, the design and construction of the dam as one project. You can also have the water treatment plant, design and construction as another project. And you can also have the design and construction of the bulk supply lines, the reservoirs and the reticulation as another project. Then the integration of these three components is also another project. Putting them together for them to work together to provide the water is also another project. And then the testing and commissioning of the final water supply system is also another project. Okay? So virtually we have 5 projects. And all these projects must work together to form a program to achieve the objective of supplying water to a community. We developing the dam, designing and constructing the dam alone will not achieve that objective. So you can see these 5 projects are just components of a water supply system as 5 projects, and you can see that they are interdependent. They depend on one another. That's what we call a program. Okay. You can also look at it this way in another case where, let's say you want to build a new satellite communication system. This satellite communication system can also be divided into projects. So we can look at project 1 as the design of the satellites and the ground stations as one project. We can look at project 2 as the construction of the satellites and the ground stations as another project. And then project 3, the integration of these 2 components, these 2 projects, also as another project. And then the launching of the satellites also as another project. So within this program of developing a new satellite communication system, we have 4 projects that are interdependent. They are connected to one another. They cannot function without each other. And at the end of the day, they must be integrated for us to achieve the objective of getting the satellite communication system. Why do we have programs? Programs basically are to produce a strategic objective or a strategic outcome which will meet the strategic goals of an organization. Okay? So when you are managing a project like a program, a collection of projects which form part, which constitute a program, you are doing it with the aim of producing or satisfying the strategic objective or outcome. For instance, as I gave you an example, the aeroplane system. The strategic objective or outcome is what? For the aeroplane to fly efficiently, fuel efficiency, efficient aerodynamics. That's the strategic objective. And all these components, which I've described to you as projects, they work together to produce this strategic objective. And from the strategic objective, the strategic goals of the organization that initiated this project will also be achieved. That is the essence of a program. So a program is different from a project. Now, a program can be further subdivided into subprograms, or sometimes we call it clusters. So you can have a large program where you can divide it into smaller programs. And these programs too can be managed, at the end of the day, they will be integrated to form the entire program to achieve the objectives of the program. For instance, we can decide to place a subprogram, a collection of projects under a subprogram based on geographical proximity, or maybe they are in a common geographical location. This is just to facilitate better management and control. Okay, so the program can be subdivided into subprograms, and these subprograms are put together. The projects within a subprogram are put together based on their geographical proximity. So you can call it a subprogram or a cluster. Okay. Then let's look at portfolio. What's a portfolio? How different is a portfolio from a program? A portfolio is bigger than a program. A portfolio is projects or programs that are not necessarily related or interdependent, but they are managed as a group to achieve the strategic business objectives of the organization. So in the case of programs, the projects within a program are interdependent, and they are interrelated, and they need to be integrated at the end of the day. But in the case of a portfolio, the collection of projects or programs are not necessarily related, or they are not interdependent. And that's a portfolio for you. Okay. So if you watch carefully, there are a lot of endeavors that we are actually involved in, which are not necessarily programs, they are portfolios. There's a project I handled recently. It's called KSD School Sanitation Program. We were actually rehabilitating toilets in various schools around the province of KZN. So we have almost about 179 schools that we had to rehabilitate their toilets, and some of them we have to even build new toilets for them. So more or less, I'm talking of 179 projects. Now the question is, these 179 toilets or 179 projects, are they interdependent? Are they interrelated? Obviously, they are not. Do they depend on each other? Obviously, they are not. At the end of the day, do I need to integrate them to achieve a collective system? No. So that tells you that that particular endeavor is not a program, it's a portfolio. But the program, the endeavor has been labeled a program, KZN School Sanitation Program. It was labeled wrongly. It's not a program from what we have learned today. It's a portfolio. The projects share a common client. They share more or less common resources because they are being funded from the same source. But they are not interdependent. So the endeavor was wrongly labeled as a program. It is a portfolio, and it must be managed as such. Managing a portfolio is a different ball game altogether, just like managing a program. Normally, we have a portfolio manager who manages a portfolio. And a program also has a program manager who manages a program. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see the difference between the two. Now, why portfolio? I told you a portfolio is bigger than a program. A portfolio is projects, a collection of projects that are not related to each other. Also programs which are not related to the projects. And then we have even operations, all of them coming under the portfolio. All this together are there to achieve the strategic goals of the organization. And they must be managed collectively as a portfolio. Okay, so what happens is that if you have a program within a portfolio, the program is there to achieve one strategic objective or strategic outcome. If you have a standalone project, it's there to achieve one strategic objective or outcome. Another project is also there to achieve one strategic outcome. So you can see that a portfolio is producing a series of strategic objectives or outcomes. And all these outcomes and objectives come together to achieve or to produce the strategic goals or achieve the strategic goals of the organization. Just as a program can also be subdivided into subprograms, the same way with a portfolio can also be subdivided into subportfolios or clusters. That is, you can group projects within a portfolio on the basis of their geographical proximity or the geographical location, and you call it a subportfolio. Or for maybe to achieve maximum strategic impact in a certain area or in a certain locality. Okay. So most programs that I see in our system here, if I watch carefully, you can see that they are not actually programs, they are portfolios, but they've been labeled wrongly as programs. Okay. If you attend my weekend courses, I'll take you through some exercises on projects, programs, and portfolios, and you'll gain a deeper understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay? So the question I want to ask you is, if you are involved in projects, is your project a standalone project? Is your project a program? Is it a portfolio? Is it a cluster? That's what I want you to know. That's the difference between the two. You don't use project management principles to manage a program, even though there are some similarities. Or you don't use project management principles to manage a portfolio, even though there are some similarities. They are two different endeavors, and the principles differ. Okay? All right. Now, why should a project manager be bothered about a program and a portfolio? It's part of your project environment when you are managing a project. I told you a couple of days back that you must be conversant with the environment within which you are managing your project. And a portfolio and a program is part of that environment. In fact, it's one of the enterprise environmental factors which you must acquaint yourself with. So when you are managing a project, the first question you must ask yourself is this project within a program? Is this project within a portfolio? And you must acquaint yourself with the objective, the strategic objective that this program is supposed to achieve. If your project finds itself in a program or in a portfolio. You must understand the overall goal of the program within which your project is sitting. And you must know the contribution of your project to the objective of this program. You cannot manage your project in isolation if you find yourself in a program or you find yourself in a portfolio. Because remember, it's just one common objective. That's why you come together as a program or you come together as a portfolio. So you must seek to understand the objectives or the outcomes of the program within which your project is located. And just ensure that the objectives of your project or the objectives of the program must be aligned with the organizational strategic goals. Should not be misaligned at all. That's the essence of the program. That's the essence of a portfolio. That's the essence of your project. It's all towards meeting an organizational strategic objective and goals. Why should you be bothered about programs and portfolios? I told you, it's part of the project environment, and you need to know. But one of the reasons why you should be more concerned with your portfolio or your programs is also about resources. Remember, if your project is in a program, you are going to share resources with other projects within that program. And sometimes your project can be stifled of resources that can even kill your project within the program. So what happens is that you must strive to achieve a balanced portfolio within which your project is located, what we call resource optimization, to ensure that no project is stifled of resources within the portfolio, because you all contribute towards one common objective. And the reason why you must also know the program or portfolios within which your project is located is also about prioritization. Sometimes projects need to be prioritized based on the stage of development within the program or portfolio. Okay. So that's one of the main objectives. It's about resources. And it's very important that you know where your project is located. Okay. And if you have effective program management system in your organization, or you have effective portfolio management system in your organization, you'll be a very happy project manager, because the system will be operating optimally, and you will not be stifled of anything. You will not be competing with other projects within your portfolio or program for the necessary time and resources. Gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to me on programs and portfolios. I hope the confusion is clear. It's been cleared now. And I hope from now onwards you understand the difference between a program and a portfolio and use it correctly. Once again, my name is the Project Management Guru, and also you can get me on my Facebook page, #GCCJBCC, or you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, JB Nate, and listen to this project management series as you enrich your life in your project management work. Thank you very much, and have a good night.